How you doing, sir? How are you? My name's Officer Burton.
In a role-playing scenario, a knife-wielding man in a tree is acting threatening and mentally unstable. Police Officer Reuben Burton Jr. tries to calm him.
Hey, so tell me, what's going on, brother?
Burton works to keep a safe distance and de-escalate the situation so he can call for psychiatric assistance.
Hey, bro, just drop the knife.
Come on.
But the man doesn't respond. He jumps from the tree and lunges at Officer Burton with the knife. Burton's partner shoots the man, who falls to the ground.
Suspect is down.
Fortunately, on this day, there's no bullet wound. Nobody dies.
If you think it's appropriate, request a PERT unit.
Burton and dozens of other newly graduated San Diego police officers are training.
Are we going to tase him out of the tree?
No.
Okay. Are we going to beanbag him out of the tree?
No.
For interactions with people suffering from a mental crisis. Across the county, that number is staggering.
Since 2009, San Diego County law enforcement, these calls coming into dispatch of a psychiatric nature have increased 92%. San Diego Police Department in the last year alone was roughly 110%.
Mark Marvin oversees the training.
But we're also looking at how you're introducing yourself to the subject.
He's director of San Diego County Psychiatric Emergency Response Team, or PERT. The nonprofit works with every law enforcement agency in the county, helping officers develop communication skills to help them defuse potentially deadly situations.
The more he's going to vent, the more he's discharging energy.
PERT also employs 51 licensed mental health clinicians who pair up daily with law enforcement officers. They spend their entire shift on patrol.
When a 911 call comes in to dispatch, the dispatcher can look at who's out in the field and can basically dispatch a PERT team to that scene when that person is in the midst of a psychiatric crisis.
The need for crisis teams has drawn renewed attention across the nation in recent years following several high-profile police shootings of people experiencing a mental crisis.
And somebody didn't go home that day, that's Mr. Longo.
Nationwide, a quarter of all people shot by police were impacted by mental illness. In San Diego County, 62 fatal police shootings have occurred since 2010.
We are on the sideline in a lot of these scenarios, hoping for an opportunity to be able to engage that person. For our clinician to interact with the person in crisis, there has to be a guarantee of public safety.
Marvin's team of clinicians has more than doubled in the last 2 years, but it still falls far short of meeting its skyrocketing demand.
Last fiscal year, we responded to just about 8,000 of these calls in San Diego County. Meanwhile, recognize that's about 1/4 of all these calls coming into dispatch because we're not 24/7.
Say his name! Alfred Longo! Say his name! Alfred Longo!
One missed call was for Alfredo Longo in El Cajon. The PERT team had been responding to a different call.
Unfortunately, I know some people almost believe that it's as if we come in from the sky wearing capes, and it doesn't work that way, you know. And maybe in some of the movies, you know, there's always a great outcome and the piano music is playing in the background. I wish that were the case.
PERT clinicians are assigned to the most needed areas, including the San Diego Police Department's Central Division in and around downtown. It's where hundreds of homeless people live on the streets.
But also the other tragedy is there are so many people who are homeless living with severe mental illness. But we know no bounds. We go into the wealthiest communities as well as those most impoverished.
You started getting some clients from me?
PERT hired an additional 10 clinicians since last year and trained more than 1,000 officers and deputies in its 1- to 3-day academies.
It's trust. It's building a collaborative relationship and realizing, unfortunately, with mental illness, we're in this for the long term.
Susan Murphy, KPBS News.